All right, so Autodesk makes a program called Revit. It's about $2,300 a year. It's a type of computer-aided design software that falls into the BIM category, Building Information Modeling. And it can really estimate what materials are in a building, among other things. All right, so once you start Revit, we went over for the last time that it'd be good for you to pick the architecture template. And once you're in Revit, you have this big ribbon here. Sometimes students accidentally hit this button here, and it kind of gets messed up or goes away. So it's important you know how to get that back. And then you have two menus out of the box. Out of the box, when I say that, I mean with a generic installation. But you have the properties right here, super important. Gives you details on everything. Like if you click a wall, it tells you lots of details about it. And then we have the project browser where you can go to things like level 2 or site plan or elevations. If you do get rid of these by accident, you can get them back. And that was under the view menu, user interface, and we have the project browser, and we had the properties. These things right here are kind of like cameras. This is the north elevation, so this long line's kind of like a camera. It's going down. We have our west, east, and south. So you would never want to delete these things because then you would lose one of these guys. But out of the box, they're there, so kind of design inside of that stuff. The other thing I want to go over was to look at things 3D. For the first time on a new house, you have to go View 3D, and thereafter, it's down here as well. But when you're in 3D, you should know the mouse wheel zooms you in and out. Hold down the Shift key and hold down the mouse button. You can orbit or rotate. And if you hide some stuff, like if I want to hide something, then you can always get it back with the light bulb down here. We'll show you what's hidden. And you can highlight that stuff again and hit Unhide Element. And then this gets you back. Sometimes students also get confused. They double click something and it brings you into like a weird menu and you're kind of stuck because it thinks you want to modify something, but just hit the X and you're kind of back to normal. Okay, so getting back to walls. So when you first click a wall here, a couple things come up and a couple things are kind of messed up in my opinion. So first off is right now the walls are unconnected. Usually you want to have them go to the next level. So instead of being 20 feet unconnected, I change it to be level 2. The next thing is how they're drawn. The wall center line is out of the box, but I would do finish face exterior. The difference is that if you look at this house here, this was drawn with wall center line. So when you dimensions go to the center of the wall. It's not really how it's done in the US. Dimensions are usually from the outside of the walls always. So right here, the house was drawn with this right here. So that's what you want. And notice too, when I do draw a wall, let's say I want like a 10-foot wall. I type in 10, enter. But if I draw this direction, my wall is actually going to be 10 foot 8 inches. But if you draw this direction, it'll keep your dimension right, if that makes sense. So it matters which way you go. But if you hit the space bar is really helpful. Space bar can flip stuff, so it's important to know that. Even with like a door, you can flip things around. All right. The other thing you should know about walls, so I got this going to level 2, finish face exterior. The next thing is right here are the types of walls out of the box. And you guys, I think, would mainly stick with this for exterior walls. And then it even goes up here, right? But I would say for interior walls, it would be good to stick probably with this one. So there's your interior wall, exterior walls. And if you want to do brick or whatever, something like that, it's there. So, yeah, and with walls, basically, when you draw a wall, you can just type in the number, like get it going in the right direction, and there's no need to type the single quote and double quote for feet, inches. Just go like this. Type in 8 space 8. That means 8 foot 8 inches. So it's just a waste of time to type in 8 single quote space 8 quote. You don't need that. So, all right. Let's see. Now, let's say you did this house. Do you have to redo everything with these dimensions? They're all screwed up. The answer is no. Like, actually, with dimensions, let me go over that too for a moment. Under Annotate, this is where you're going to do most of your dimensions. They're aligned. But one thing I would change in this right off the bat is we're going to round it to the nearest inch. So if you go to Edit Type, you have to do this one time. And unlike SketchUp, it'll change all your dimensions. It says Units Format, and you have to uncheck this box and just round to the nearest inch. So, and all your dimensions will change. So right here, if you want to dimension something, then you just basically left click. I could click on the center of the window, for example, like the center of the door, center of the window, outside, and my overall dimension. So it makes it really easy. Oops. Escape key gets you out of your command. But look at this dimension here. It's messed up. If you click a dimension, you can click these buttons right here, and it'll toggle to different sides of the wall. So it's possible to fix stuff. But if I want that to be 25 feet, you have to click this wall, and you could use your arrow keys, like left arrow key, and bring it over with that. Or what you could do is, once you click a wall, this dimension pops up, and whatever you type in here, it'll go to that dimension. So I could say, hey, I want this to be the outside of the wall. And you could type it here too, 25, enter. So dimension's pretty easy compared to SketchUp. Let's talk about a little bit about doors for a second. With doors, these are the doors you have currently in your file, but you can get more. Same holds true with Windows. You just have to go, you click on door first, that's step 1. So click door, and then you go to load family over here. And this lets you load in more doors. So if you click that, now what happens is you have access to way more doors. So like if you want a garage door or something else. And there's even more online after that. But that's how you get it. If you want like a rolling door. And then there's different sizes too you can pick. With Windows, it's pretty similar. You got some that in your project here you can pick from. You can tweak them way more, but for today, keeping it simple, you can also go to Load Family and get more windows. you get little previews too with them, so all kinds of stuff like that. One thing with a window you should know is for a typical window like a casement window, this is correct. This faces outside, and that's backwards. So you want it like that. And same thing, if you want your window centered, you could use the arrow keys on your keyboard or type the dimension there. Let's see. So that was a recap from the other day. We're going to come around and check your garage today. Make sure you have it dimensioned right. And that's one thing you're going to do today. And then on my YouTube channel, I'm going to have you today, you're going to draw all the roofs that you see on my YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it. Right here, it says roofs, hip, gable, shed, and curve. So today your assignment, the first thing you're going to do after the garage is checked off is you're going to do all these roofs like this. And then we're going to check you off. So that way you have a basic understanding of roofs. All right, so go ahead and start that.